Hey guys, you're tuned in to Matter of Faction with Alex Callan, and you just heard the industrial tinged and true crime inspired duo SKYND with their song Gary Heidnick. And that one also actually features Jonathan Davis of Korn. If you are unfamiliar with SKYND, it's the creative outlet of two people, singer SKYND and producer and multi-instrumentalist Father. And today we're actually lucky enough to have the lead vocalist SKYND on the line. So SKYND, how have you been?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thanks
I'm
for
not
having
too
me.
bad, thank you. So you guys have been incredibly busy lately. You know, you've been playing Download Festival and recently supporting Rob Zombie as well. How's that been?
That was awesome. Like, when I got the request to play or support Rob Zombie, it was a big honor to me because I'm a huge fan of him. Like, I know his movies, I know his music, and I was really like, it was just awesome. I need to laugh when I think about it. And playing Download was awesome too. Like, it was my first or our first ever festival we played, and to see people in the crowd or to hear people in the crowd singing along or even do or dress up like me, that was really emotional to see as well. Like, that was a great experience, and it got me really motivated to keep going.
I can imagine that it would have been absolutely incredible. And, you know, did playing at Download and festivals like The Great Escape, do you feel as if that has kind of led to some of these huge support slots?
I think so, yeah. But then again, I mean, the collaboration with Jonathan Davis opened up many doors quicker than normally, I would say. And I'm really grateful that JD helped me out or helped us out with the track and with his vocals and the appearance of him in the video. That helped a lot, to be honest. That was one of the biggest helps we got, and we are crazy grateful for that.
And it is kind of a bit of a funny story how Jonathan Davis did get involved in that song. Am I right in saying that he was in the studio when you sent through the tracks to be mastered?
Yes, he was in he was recording in the studio of Eric Gracie, and Eric was like mixing our songs. And he told Father that maybe JD would be interested in listening to these tracks, so he showed him my tracks, and he had a listen, and he was like, "Oh my God, I love that Gary Heidnick track. Can I be a part of it?" So he emailed us, and we got in contact, and that's how everything got started. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. I'm sure it would have been the last thing that you're imagining sending that song off. And
yes,
speaking of,
like, big surprise.
So you guys have been working on some new songs as well. And for listeners who may, you know, not have been introduced to SKYND previously, all of your songs are inspired by true crime stories. Could you possibly expand on that a little bit?
No. No, SKYND, I am only about true crime. I only write about true crime, about the serial killers, even the victims, about certain events. Maybe school shootings will be a topic as well. But SKYND, or I am all about true crime. That's my biggest interest. That's what I want to write about. That's what I want to get off my chest, because sometimes it makes me really angry to read all these stories. That's why I have to write about it. And there will be no other topic than true crime music. Or true crime, to make true crime music.
I suppose because, you know, it is an incredibly interesting concept in a sense. I mean, a lot of people do have that interest with true crime stories, but it is very rare that it does find its way into music. I suppose, where did that idea initially come from?
It wasn't like an idea. It was actually my imaginary friend. I got an imaginary friend. I don't know if you heard about that. And he called himself SKYND. And he showed up when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And he showed me like all the bad stuff in the world, like all the cruelties. And he was the one getting me interested in true crime. And when I got older, he was like, you have to get it off your chest, because I had like shaky hands sometimes and I was anxious, and he was like, you have to get it out of your chest. And so this is how I started writing about true crime. And when I do that, I feel better. Like the shaking stops, I get like, I feel much calmer. And he was the one telling me, write about it, get it off your chest, do it. And that's how I started.
And is SKYND, as an imaginary friend of yours, is he still around now?
Yes, he is. He's actually right sitting next to me.
Oh, well, he's more than welcome to join into the interview if there's ever an answer that might be more accommodated for him.
But if I say imaginary friend, I'm the only one seeing him, so it's impossible for him to talk to you. But I will let you know if he tells me something.
Sweet, fantastic. So I suppose, expanding on writing about true crime, most recently the newest single, which is off Chapter 2, your upcoming EP, is about Jim Jones. And I know that you have also previously said that Jim Jones is a case that you have been fascinated by for a while.
Yes, because for me, it's fascinating, but at the same time, it's really frightening how one man can easily manipulate people when it comes to religion. And it was interesting for me that how people followed him even while ignoring all of the facts to the contrary about the true he was, He was a mind controller, a brainwasher, and it's just fascinating how one man can talk you into suicide. And there was one example. He told his followers that they don't need any glasses to see. I don't know if you ever heard about that. All of his followers listened to him, believing him to not wear their glasses, and they ended up drinking flavor-aid cyanide. So this is fascinating for me, how there are other examples of leaders who talk their followers into war, suicide, or whatever. But this case especially is so fascinating because it's mixed with religion, with, with feeling bigger than you actually are. I don't know how to say that. And that's what was really fascinating for me. How one man can talk everyone into drinking that fucking cyanide. That's just insane. But it happened. It happened, and we should not turn a blind eye on that because it's still happening. It is happening all over the world, and with the internet or social media, it got much easier to spread a certain idea of living, for example, or I don't know, or just an idea, All you need is a YouTube channel and a fixed idea, and you can spread it all over the world, and you will find followers who will follow you or your idea. There's that Flat Earth Society. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, but I know it's a funny example, but then again, it's not, because these people, they really believe that the Earth is flat. They despite all the physics and scientists or whatever, and they lose their friends, they lose their family, because their family, they're telling them you're stupid to believe that, and they're like, no, I'm not. I found my community, and they feel welcomed in that community because they're all believing the same, and I think that's a bad thing. That's not good. That's just not good. It's happening all the time. It's not a Jim Jones example, but it's happening. The brainwashing is happening right now. It's frightening.
Well, I suppose I find it a bit of a interesting point that you have mentioned there, SKYND, in a sense that obviously your music is kind of writing it and fueling that voice to combat that in a sense, but do you feel as if music is also used, to at times negatively influence the fan base of the musician?
So the question is that I feel like music can... You have to ask me again, I'm sorry.
So with what you were saying,
the question again.
With how everyone now, it's a lot more easier for people to influence others, with people, having a YouTube account or a Facebook account and acquiring these followers who join their cause. Do you feel as if that does or has happened many times with music? Because, in a sense, it is the same where a lot of music has gone online and it acquires all these followers and huge fan bases.
I mean, it depends. If I understand you right, it depends on the topic you're singing about, no?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, of course. I mean, if you look at certain pop artists and they're singing about love and everything is great and everything is happy, they got their followers and they got their fan base because they want to escape reality. And that's okay. I mean, that's fine. As long as it's not getting too extreme and you're thinking about your favorite artist as a god, I think then it gets kind of twisted and it's kind of wrong, in my opinion. That's why I don't want to call my fans not fans. I want to call them supporters because I don't want to be a god to them. I just want to get my music out, and I love that my supporters support my music, but I don't want them to look at me like a god. I was reading some comments on YouTube, and they were like, "Oh, you're such a goddess," and I am hail SKYND and stuff like that. I don't like that. This is not what I want to be, or who I want to be. I want to make music. I want people to enjoy my music and to get reminded that we're all bad and good. We're like balanced. But I don't want people to worship me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I hope I answered that question right.
No, definitely, and I think that's an incredibly humbled and insightful response. I do actually have kind of one final question, and then I'll wrap it up for today's SKYND. So my final question is, when can we hope to see SKYND perform in Australia next?
I hope really soon. It's a big, big dream for me to play in Australia because we started in Australia. We started writing our songs in Australia because I have met Father in Australia. It would be a big, big dream. I hope very soon. Very, very soon.
Well, hopefully after the release of Chapter 2, and then we've got something to look forward to. So I'll wrap it up there.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much for having a chat tonight, SKYND. It's been fantastic. And I'll finish off by introducing your newest single. This one is Jim Jones.
Yes. Thank you.